ברוכים הבאים לפרק 430 של נובחים בירוק. איתנו הערב שוב אורח משוויצריה, מבירן, מישהו שאחראי שם גם לאחד הפודקאסטים המובילים שקשורים ליאנג בויז, רוכטי, ושוב יהיה פרק באנגלית, אז אנחנו מקווים שאתם משיעור לשיעור מתקדמים, ואני אעביר את המיקרופון למתן שיתחיל את הראיון והשיחה.
How are you, עמית?
Very good. Excited to host another guest from Switzerland.
Yes. So Barking in Green, chapter 430. You can find us in the social media. We have Barking in Green on Facebook, York 1913 on Twitter. We have Instagram and YouTube and Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or any other application you listen to podcast. Press subscribe and you will be the first to receive indication about any chapter they published. So today we have Offer Purosner. Offer, how are you?
אני נהדר, תודה רבה.
Okay, so take it from here.
So we have, as Amit says, Brian Rookhti from Schweiz. You know, in Switzerland you say Schweiz, you don't say Switzerland. So it's like Hebrew we say Schweiz as well. And Brian Rookhti is the founder of Radio Gelb Schwarz, which is Shachor, Czahov in Hebrew. And Brian, welcome to the Barking Green podcast. How are you?
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm very good. I was actually sick this week, but now I'm getting better just in time for the big clash next week.
That's very good. We need everyone to be 100%, prepared and in good shape. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself and the radio? How did you start? What was the idea behind it? And how did you get in connection with the club?
Well, I think it's pretty similar to you guys. I'm a huge, enormous football fan, huge Young Boys fan. Went to all the games as a young man or as a boy with my father to the old Wankdorf. It's a historical stadium. Maybe, in 1954 World Cup, Germany won their first world title there. So it's historically an immense stadium. And I was there when we had the last game. So it's kind of a part of me. And then afterwards we had Neufeld Stadium, which was like the stadium we used while the Wankdorf was being redeveloped. And I went to school right next to it, to the high school Neufeld, which was great also, which meant I was always close to my team during my high school time. And then, of course, kept going to all the games. And then with more and more money coming into the game, more and more pay TV came into the game, which meant that us fans, especially people like me, I was young when I founded the radio with my colleague Simon, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, we couldn't afford to have pay TV. We couldn't watch the games anymore. So we decided to do something about it. We couldn't do a TV station, but we could do a radio station. So we founded our own radio station. We did all the games live. And it kind of took off from there. Then we collaborated with the club. So at the home games, our commentary is also going live into the stadium, so blind people can also hear it. So blind people are also able to listen to us during the games. So we are a very inclusive club. So that's how we started working together very closely with the club, and then it just went step by step. I now have my own company with friends. We are 18 people, and one of our biggest clients are Young Boys, and one of our favorite clients obviously are Young Boys, where we do the in-house TV production, we do the radio station, we do podcasts. So we started kind of like you, and we still are like you, kind of. we just love what we're doing. We can talk about football, and it's part of our job, so it's fantastic.
Just with hair on your head. This is the big difference.
Yeah. I had much more hair when I was younger. Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, because this is something very interesting. We are, because of the job that we do, because of, we do our stuff outside of, Maccabi Haifa, because we all have our own life, even though we are very much committed. And, you are connected to the club. Do they in any way, shape or form try to influence what you do, or they just keep you completely independent?
Well, it depends. When I say in-house TV, obviously, the in-house TV, you will see it when you come to Wankdorf, is what you see on the big screens. So okay. Obviously we have to do sponsoring there, and if UEFA comes, we have to do what UEFA says. That's clear. But for the radio station, they give us complete freedom because they know, Radio Gelb Schwarz, or RGS is how people call it here, is a part of the club now, and lots of children have listened to me since they were small. It's been around for 15 years, so sometimes I meet people who are 25 and they tell me, hey, I've been listening to you since I was 10 years old. So those people, they kind of grew up also with us, and also with I guess us also, let's say, promoting what our club is about. I told you already, our club is about inclusiveness. It's about tolerance. It's about making everybody feel at home in our stadium. And that's also what the radio does. So I think over 15 years of doing the radio and talking mainly about football, but also kind of showing the people what our values are, I think that's something money can't really buy. So the club knows what it's worth. So they support us.
That's really great. And do you have relationships with other clubs? Do you want to interview players from other places in Schweiz or maybe in European games? The club helps you get those interviews and things like that?
Of course, the club is very supportive because they see us as a part of the let's say the media landscape of BSC Young Boys, which is growing. I mean, since we started, we have turned into a very big club with quite a high revenue, nearly 30,000 people a game average. It's grown a lot. So of course we are completely supported, but we are also able to do what we want, especially these kind of shows, like when we do before European games. These are probably our most popular ones, and they let us do whatever we want to do there. So no, it's absolute freedom as long as I guess, I mean, it will never change, but as long as everybody knows that we are doing what's best for young boys, what's best for yellow and black, we can do whatever we want.
What you do in Young Boys is something common in Schweiz? The other clubs have a radio of their own?
Mm-hmm. I'd say we would probably be the most, I wouldn't say successful, but maybe the most, the biggest station. But other clubs are also big. Like we have a few big clubs in Switzerland. You'll probably know FC Basel. They are very big. FC Zurich, also big following of fans. And then a bit smaller, but also big. Lucerne, Grasshoppers, huge tradition. And they all have fans around them that are more or less active. Some more on Twitter. Some do podcasts. Basel has a very famous podcast, Inetrukt, which is also very, very good. It's like yours. So we're not the only ones. But what maybe is unique about us is that we kind of, what happened to us is, or what the privilege is, we can kind of combine now fan views, are being a fan and also being a part of the club. Because at the end of the day, we all love our club, right? And being you want to love your club and you want to make your club great. So if you can do that as a fan, that is really, really cool. And our club kind of embraces that. It's fans are spoken to a lot. Fans help repaint the stadium, things like that. Fans helped redo the stadium where we had to put in the new seats for Wankdorf. So yeah, it's a club that is very it feels like a big family, I'd say.
It's very interesting because we had some interviewers that told us that sometimes when you get too close to the club that you like, you support, you see behind the scenes something that makes you not so happy. Did you feel the same, that you experienced in the club some things that it would be better to Brian, the fan, not to know?
Well, not to know, I don't know, but we experienced difficult times. You had another fan from Switzerland, from eBay, in your podcast, and I think he told you, because before 2018, we were always a big club, a loved club, but it was more about going through difficult times then, because we didn't achieve our potential. So that was a difficult time, and we were always around then, and we were all, like I said, we have been around for 15 years, not for the last 6 where we've been successful. We've been around for the hard times as well, and we were always. And I think people like to listen to us because they understand and they hear us. We are honest. We were always honest, and we were always very direct. And when stuff was happening which we didn't agree with, we said it, and we still do. The cool thing at the moment is there's not much that we disagree with. We are well run club. And it's a lot of fun to be a part of the club at the moment.
What do you think was the crucial thing that your club did to become so successful after more than 30 years of not being so cheerful?
32 years. 32 it was. Well, in a way, it was kind of, it got much worse before it got much better, because it was kind of like the disaster happened, and then after the disaster, which was some people on the board that were close to FC Basel, and then there was a huge scandal, and they had to leave. And that was kind of like there was a vacuum afterwards, and then the vacuum was able to be filled by people who were around the club for a long time. Mainly the main figure was Christoph Speicher, who used to be our sporting director. He is now much higher up. He is the head of sport, they call it, but in the board. So he kind of filled that vacuum, and he said, I'm only going to do it if you let me do it my way. And that was the beginning of everything, because he trusted the people, and he listened to the people that were in the club for a long, long time. And step by step, it came much faster than we actually thought. We won the championship 1.5 years afterwards, 2018, which was probably faster than everybody thought. But and it wasn't a fluke, as you know. We've won 5 in the last 6 years since.
Who is the owner of the club? Is it the same owner for all these years?
Yes, it's the family Ries. They're called family Ries. Andi Ries and Jöki Ries, they're brothers. And Andi Ries, sadly, he died just before we won the title, 2 weeks before. So that was very tragic. But he knew, I think, that we were going to get it. And now his brother Jöki Ries and Andi's son they own the club, but they are let's say that they own it, but they let the football people run it, which makes absolute sense.
I'm always saying the crowd are the owners. These are the shareholders.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way they run it. Actually, I mean, they did what they did was important, because without them, we wouldn't have the new stadium. There was lots of people who helped build the new stadium, because the young boys, by the end of the past century, we nearly went bankrupt. It was a tough phase. Also, the beginning of this century. But then we had people who stepped in, and it couldn't. That kind of money to build a stadium like we have, that can't be crowdfunded, sadly. So somebody needed to do it, and they did it, and they did a great job. Sometimes it was difficult for them also, coming not from a football background. They are the Ries brothers, especially Andy. He's more from cycling. He used to have the cycling team Phonak, but they then with time, I think they found out that football is just a different kind of different ball game. It has to be run differently, and it kind of started working out.
The club is the owner of the stadium?
Yes.
Not in Haifa is the city.
No, we don't pay any rent. We own the stadium, which means that's a lot of revenue you can generate through it.
So about that, and about in general, so you mentioned before that the club is like a big family. So I wonder, what does it say about the atmosphere, in the stadium, in the games? You have a lot of season ticket holders. Obviously, Schweiz is experiencing some kind of a fan boom. I see the Zurich Derby is very high on my list of games to go. And there are some big teams. I've been to Basel once for Israel national team game, and I saw it's great stadiums and great atmosphere. But what is it like in the game? What are our fans that are going to go, like Amit and Matan with us here? What should they expect in terms of fan atmosphere, songs? Is it like a big thing? Are the fans friendly? Good places to drink besides the stadium? What should we expect? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, maybe inside the stadium.
Inside the stadium. Inside the stadium, you can. And we can do both. I'll do inside first. Inside, you will obviously it will be sold out for our game. Clear. So you can expect there'll be I'm nearly 100% sure there will be a big tifo. We call it choreo over both like top and bottom, which are fantastic. I mean, like the whole behind the goal will be black and yellow. It will be really, really good. And then it will be loud. It will be loud. It will maybe not be the same kind of loud. I don't know you guys experience, but it's a kind of a mixture, I'd say, between French, Italian, and German atmosphere. We have kind of our own kind of way of doing it in Switzerland, but we have good fan culture. I'd say like Young Boys, Basel, Zurich, they don't have to hide in Europe, and it will be loud. When the whole stadium chips in, we have a few songs where everybody sings. It can get extremely loud. And I mean, if it goes our way anyway, it will be loud. So we will have for sure a good atmosphere, especially because everybody knows honestly, this is one of the games of our season. We all want to get into the Champions League really, really badly. So everybody has been waiting for these two games for months.
You mentioned Italy, French, and Germany. What's the language of the songs in the Bern Stadium?
Bandüch, which is Swiss German, but Bandüch is unser Dialekt. Wir reden Bandüch und unsere Lieder sind eigentlich auch Bandüch. So our songs are also Bandüch. All of them actually. We used to have earlier. There used to be a few English songs, but no, everything is Bandüch now. So you won't understand.
You can curse us, and we won't know what you're saying.
No. Unless, but I don't expect this. Well, the only thing we sometimes do in English is, especially when English supporters come, is you only sing when you're winning. But I don't expect you. I expect you guys to sing even if you're not winning. At least that's the impression I get from you guys.
You can ask in Lisbon, in Paris, in Torino. We sing everywhere and all the time.
Great.
Yeah, I've been to a few.
Our fans as well, especially away. Away is also very good. Yeah, I'm not sure how many will come, but we normally have a big crowd going away.
If you try to guess approximately, how much will it come to Haifa?
This is a pure guess. I'd say it's a bit a further trip than normal, so longer flight, maybe a bit more expensive. I'd say between 1,500 and 2,000 at least.
Well, I think 1.5. It's a 5% from the stadium, so that's what you get.
You only get 1.5. We give you more.
Yes, we will bring how much we will give us, and
the
more
the merrier,
and more.
Okay, I think we will. I hope we will fill. We should be able to fill the sector if it's 1.5. But I guess also which is also interesting for us IBE fans. I mean, we've been to Israel before, but it's been a long time. I think Hapoel Beersheva, I'm not sure, but
in the 90s against Hapoel Beersheva, and in the 70s against Bitar Yerushalayim. But this
so it's not like when we go to France, Italy, or England. I mean, people travel in thousands. So this will also be a bit more. In a positive way, I guess, exotic, which means that not everybody, not every 16-year-old will be able to go. Not everybody will say, oh, it's fine, you go. It's not like when we go to Stuttgart or so, where everybody says, okay, yeah, you can go. It's okay. Come back tomorrow with the train. It's a bit more exotic. So if there's less than 1,500, that's probably the reason. But for us, it's a huge game. I mean, like I told you.
And it's special when you go with distance. It's special.
Yeah. We've gone long. We've gone far. We've gone to Baku and all over the place. So we're used to long trips.
Okay, we talked about inside the stadium. What about outside the stadium?
Outside the stadium, you will notice during the day there will be a buzz, but also mainly because of you guys, I think, because you guys will be in the old town, beautiful old town we have. And if it's nice weather and if you are good swimmers, you should go swimming in our river, the Ada. This is what we do in Bern. It's like part of our culture, swimming in the Ada. But it's something you need to be safe about because it's quite a strong current. So make sure you know what you're doing or ask other people. But during the day, it will build up, and then you'll see people with the jerseys and people drinking beer, and then. What is traditional before the game starts on the Wankdorfplatz, which is the square. We have like a big square in front of the stadium. That's where everybody meets and has beer and drinks and gets ready.
Can we feel safe to be there with green shirts?
Yes. If you behave normally, I don't see any problem at all. I would say if you don't do anything that you should normally do, I don't see any issue. No.
So the police is usually quite calm in these situations.
Yes, it depends on if you want to march to the stadium, or I don't know how you guys are organized, but in our fan culture, we always have a march to the stadium together. So then the police would be telling you where to go because obviously they would have to stop traffic and everything. But I'm sure your people at the club are coordinating with our police. Normally, it's no issue at all. They are used to it because, like I said, every match is full at the moment, and we've had lots of Champions League games, which is very good because it just means that the police force know what they're doing. They're used to this kind of game.
That's great. I hope there's going to be a little bit of a mix between the fans because we went to Lisbon, for example, and the police was very strong, and then they kept us in line and outside, and then after the game they took us like in the line. and then we just kind of stopped and we mixed with the fans, and it was really great.
I expect this should be possible. I will make sure that I will tell everybody that are doing radio next week to make sure that they tell everybody who's listening to give you guys a beer if they see you.
The word for beer in Hebrew and the word for capital city like Bern is the same word. So it's kind of, we have to drink beer when in Bern. It's
of course, yeah. Nomen est omen, as they say.
You mentioned that this is one of the biggest games for Bern this season yet. Everybody's waiting for it, obviously. Champions League or bust or European. But what do they say about Maccabi Haifa in the Swiss media? What is the expectations?
I think there are two, let's say, groups. There are the groups who know more about football, who are a bit less optimistic, and there are the groups who maybe don't watch as much football. And after the draw where it was Slovan or Maccabi, they said, if Ibe doesn't get in the Champions League here, it's a failure. So, and in a way, of course, Ibe, our let's say, our goal is to get into the Champions League, and we have to. And that is meant with no disrespect, but we have to be able to beat the Israeli or the Slovakian champions if we want to be in the Champions League. Like you guys have to beat the Swiss champions if you want to be in the Champions. That's just the way it is. Otherwise we don't belong there. So, but there are still a few who I think underestimate you because, if you look at the values, which for me don't really matter, but for some people they do. Average value of player and total value of player. Of course, we have higher values. And of course, we have Fabian Rieder, who is meant to be worth 15 million. Nobody's been able to pay it yet. But at the end of the day, your league is highly competitive. And if I see the way you got into the Champions League last year, who you beat, starting with Olympiacos. We've lost to Olympiacos. They're a great, great team. And we've beat Slovan Bratislava a few times, so we know how to do that. But still, you go through all the rounds from the first round. You are battle hardened, I'd say, for this. And for us, we've had four games now in the championship against teams that we have to beat normally, except for Lucerne away. Lucerne away are a good team. They're hard to beat. But let's say for us, we are only slowly getting into the rhythm, and that's why I said the big games are now coming. It's one of the big games of the season. Of course, we want to get the double again, like last year. We want to win the championship. We want to win the cup, but we really want to get into the Champions League. So it's a huge occasion so early in the season, like it is for you. But you've already had these three rounds, so that's a bit different, I guess. We're used to that. 2 years ago when we got into the Champions League, we also started a bit earlier. We started in the second round, beating Ferencváros at the end, which are also a good team, which was also tough work. So they are also green and white, by the way. So I expect it to be similar. So like I said, some people underestimate you. I think most people who know what they're talking about know it's going to be tough. It's going to be close.
I think Bern, it's highly favorite, but it's not need the miracle that Maccabi will be in the group stage. Okay, the gap. It's not that big.
Yeah, and you're in good form. You have good players, and Rafaelov. He beat us last year with Anderlecht. That was bad. That was we lost that game at home. We dominated them, but we lost, and then away in penalties. It was the worst draw we could get, and we lost. So that's also extra motivation to pay back Rafaelov for that last year, because we missed out on Europe completely last year, and as you know, Basel went to the semis in the Conference League. So.
You eliminated in the playoff, conference playoff, right?
Exactly, against Anderlecht.
And this year Basel is out because of Kazakhstan.
This year Basel is out against Topol.
Yeah, and now you'll have group stage for sure. It's very similar to the Israeli kind of Maccabi fans, because it's like there are those who understand a little bit more about football and say, listen, we've seen Bern play. Everybody is like huge, good players, and other people they all say, well, it's not like a big known team, so we should beat them. So it's kind of similar, I think. Although judging by we're trying our little bit, with the fan that we had last time, kind of getting our fans to lower a little bit the expectations. So, but I do wonder this about the football over there. When we started playing in Europe, I remember Grasshoppers was the big dog. They even played Maccabi Tel Aviv way back in the Champions League playoff, and they lost. And then there was the time that Basel was controlling everything.
No, Grasshoppers won Maccabi Tel Aviv.
I said.
Okay. 1-1 in Schweiz, and afterward in Bloomfield they won if you remember 1-0 by a free kick that I think it's the ball hit someone of the players, and it's Obarov don't saw where the ball is going.
Yeah. So it was Grasshopper Zurich. Matan is the person with the best memory in all of Israel, just so you know, when it comes to football games. So, and then Basel, and now you know, 5 out of the last 6. Does it go like this in Switzerland? Like, you know, one team controls for a time and then another team. And if this is the case, then you would say that Basel are the maybe favorites now, even because they're not in Europe. They have much less games this season. Why is it like this, do you think? And is it something that is trying to change a little bit about the football over there? You know, more teams, you know, maybe because in Israel there are like the 3 big teams now: Maccabi Tel Aviv, Maccabi Haifa, Apol Be'er Sheva, and they all, you know, up until maybe the last 5-6 games of the season, all of them could maybe won the league last year, and you know, we won 3 straight, but still it was more competitive than it seems over there. But I don't know, so maybe you can tell us about this.
Well, yeah, in our league, I guess you've had the historically big teams, you know, Grasshoppers are still the record champions. They were historically big. They were also always well funded. They got like the money from the big banks in Zurich, so that helped. But that kind of went away, and then they fell when they lost their stadium, which was a great stadium. Hartwell was meant to be rebuilt, still hasn't been. They kind of lost a bit of their identity, so they're kind of lost at the moment, and now they're owned by the Chinese, who are also owning Wolverhampton. They're kind of looking for their identity. And then Basel, of course, Basel they have been a big club. They still are a big club. Also had change of ownership, which I think was the issue. Plus we were very stable. It was always, and then Basel, after Goetze kind of went, it was always Basel, Zurich and us who are kind of there. And then Basel had a phase of 8 titles in a row where they dominated everything. Also went straight to the Champions League, where our league was so high that they got straight promotion to the Champions League. So that kind of, you know, fed the wheel of getting better players and then selling players like Brelembolo for 20 million, or I don't know, like really getting a lot of money in. So then there was a change of ownership in Basel. Zurich has been quite stable for the years. I mean, they had the same president for more than 20 years, I think. And they come and go, but they're always kind of there, except for last season where they were really bad. But now they're back at top. So yeah, like you said, but I think it's getting closer now. I mean, it's not as easy anymore. Also because Swiss football generally, I mean, last year we had the most fans average in history. I don't know the exact number, but over 13,000 a game for a small country. It's big. I mean, we're close to Holland. We are close. We are ahead of most countries that are in our size. And then you have our teams competing in Europe, which is important. We have Servet now, who will be in the Europa League, Lugano at least in the Conference League, us at least in the Europa League, and then we need to kind of go places there, you know. So for us, even if we get into the Champions League, I mean, just competing won't be enough. We want to get at least the 3rd place. So Swiss football is developing. And your question about Basel, is it easier for them now because they're out? They have so much dynamic at the moment, so much change. They lost more than half their team. All of their big players were sold, and they hadn't got in replacements in time. Now they're starting to buy players. Maccabi Tel Aviv striker yesterday, who was definitely a good striker. So we know they are getting good players as well, like Yusuf Demir from Galatasaray. They're getting good players in, but it still needs to gel, you know. And our team is so stable. We lost Christian Fasnacht and we lost Cesiger. Those were two players that were very important to us, but only 2. And I mean, we were already ready for them to go. We bought Darian Malesh for Fasnacht before he had left, who last season was the top scorer of Basel. We bought him from Inter because they didn't buy him off Inter, so we did. And also in defense, we have Orel Amenda, who is one of the best young defenders I think we've seen for ages, and Mohamed Ali Kamara, who you might know because he used to play in Israel, who is top defender as well. He's now even our captain. So we are what makes us different to Basel at the moment is we have extreme stability, and we kind of feel like our sporting directors, they've always planned at least 1 or 2 steps ahead. So our team is extremely stable. And I mean, we still have Fabian Rieder, and it looks like he will be playing you in both games, which, I mean, that's not good news for you, just to let you know.
So this is a great segue for the next question. I want to say before I asked it, it sounds that Ibe, like you say, I'm trying to, are very similar to the way that Maccabi Haifa are. I kind of get the vibe that the clubs are having kind of a similar vibe, which is kind of great. But can you tell us, who do you think will play? Let's start in the game in Haifa. What do you think will be the starting 11? And who should our fans look out for?
Well, the good thing about us, we're quite well balanced team. We have great strikers, four of them, which every one of them can play. I mean, you have Nsame, who was top scorer of our league 3 times. Eaton, who nearly was top scorer of our league last season, and even though he didn't always play. Mesha Kelia, he is extremely fast, small. Silver Gombula, who we got from Bochum this year. I mean, those are top-notch players. And those are 4. 2 of them will play probably. I expect us to play 4-4-2 diamond or 4-4-2 flat. Not sure yet. Depends on the coach. His preferred formation is 4-4-2 diamond, but we might change something. And then in the center midfield, Rieder will play. I mean, that's obvious. That's no breaking news for you. If he's around, he'll play. And then it depends on the situation about how we want to play. If we want to play diamond or flat, if Nias plays, or if our Wakomi or Lakomi. It depends on how you want to say it. He plays. It's kind of a different setup. Then we have Sandro Lauper coming back from injury. He was also top midfielder as well. So yeah, that's the center midfield. And then on the wings, also depends on the kind of way the coach puts the team out. But Ugrinic is a top man. Kostiot Imeri, our most expensive ever signing, who played under 21s European Championship, where your team was also very good, by the way, Isabel. Maybe you saw him. He was extremely good, Imeri. There, Darian Malesh, who I said a while ago, who is new, top. Then we have Monteiro, who is actually a striker but plays on the wing now. We have. I must say we have extremely wide amount of quality, especially offensively also. And then in the back, I said the center 2 are clear for me with Gamara and Amenda. I expect those to play. And then on the wings, we'll see. We can go stable with maybe Loris Benito on one side, who would be more like the stable option. Then we have also a new guy called Persson from Sweden, who would be maybe a bit more offensive. Then we have Uli Garcia, who is also a national player who was injured. If we're lucky, he'll be back on time, who could play on the other side. So I mean, we have loads of options, which is I think is great news for us, and which also makes us confident, and which has also been our biggest strength over the last seasons. I think that we've had such a wide amount of quality in our team.
Wow, that sounds like a lot of players can play in the game. You have quite a big squad.
Yeah, and I feel confident in all of those players. I mean, also I didn't even mention Levin Bluem, who is one of our young fullbacks from our own youth. He's also fantastic. Our side Janko, we also got this season, came from Bundesliga, from Bochum. So fantastic players.
Okay.
Sorry, my phone.
Lot of things to think about. Lot of things. A lot of players to fear. And
yeah, I mean, I can't tell you who will be playing because they're all very good. But I mean, you can look at you. I mean, you can do your own homework. You can look at how we played the first 4 games. You will kind of see. You will see who are the favorite players. But then again, our best game against Winterthur at home was when Vicky, our coach, kind of mixed it up a bit. We didn't play the diamond formation. We played 4-4-2 flat with Dieter and Lakomi in the center. So it's hard to say. It depends. Maybe away, more defensive a bit, tiny bit more conservative, I expect. But we'll see.
The thing, I'll tell you, I watched a little bit about of the game versus Lucerne, and the thing that caught my eye the most was the fact that it was their hail in the game in summer.
Oh, yeah.
That's something that we never see in Israel. Just these huge balls of ice in the middle of summer. Crazy. But you mentioned Rafael. What?
It wasn't a great game. It wasn't a great game by us, Lucerne. I mean, after the hail, we got better.
But it was a great game. Not by you, but as a game, it was highly performed. It was very physical. It's a fast game. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed to see this game from both of the team.
Yeah. Lucerne are a good team. I really like their coach. as well. But yeah, we should have done better in that. Nobody was happy with the first 70 minutes. That's not the way we want to play. But like you say, Lucerne pressed well. They were physical, which is normally something we are the best at in the league. We are the most physical team normally. But Lucerne were good. But then after the hailstorm, you mentioned often, which was it was a rough hailstorm. We get those in summer here. We improved a lot, and that's the way we will want to play also against Maccabi. Lots of vertical balls, lots of runners. Also, when we use the space, because we have a very athletic team, so we need to attack the space.
It seems that Swiss football is very, very physical, more than I think Israeli football, which relies more on technical plays, from what I see, or this is my estimation of the things. But you mentioned Rafaelov as a player that you know in Maccabi. Who are other players that the media or you have the eyes for and kind of look, and maybe before the game they told the big stars or the
I saw the Slovan game, and I don't know how you say Sherry or Cherry?
Sherry.
Great game by Sherry. But I mean, I'm just going to tell you, he will never have that kind of space against us. Never, ever. But I mean, if we give him space, he'll punish us. But the space he had against Slovan was crazy. At least one of our players will be trying to get to him as fast as possible, because he's a quality player. You can see that. And then, of course, striker Piero, right? Yeah, also known. Also a guy we have on our radar. And then, of course, Rafaela from last year, because I mean, even though he's very old, 37, I think, right? I mean, he showed quality in that game against us with Anderlecht, and that was a physical game also. I mean, that was 10 times more physical than Lucerne against Ibe, Anderlecht against Ibe. So, Rafaelov will know what's coming.
Yeah, Rafaelov probably won't open the both games because, it's too old, I think. But
he'll be important for the squad, I think. He will be able to tell them.
And Piero is physically as Amanda. So this will be a very interesting matchup.
And then don't forget Kamara also. Kamara and Amanda will work on him.
Yes, those three monsters, I think it will be interesting because they will be getting tired, I think, those three very fast.
Yeah. And then your goalkeeper looked good against Slovan as well, I thought.
I think.
Okay. Let's say your goalkeeper is much better.
Okay. Our goalkeeper in our situation...
Without seeing him.
No, it's not.
No, well, he made a few good saves in the first half, I thought. But our goalkeeper, our situation is actually... our number 2 is playing, not Choppy, but he's very, very good. I think he's good enough to be a number 1 everywhere else. But our number 1 keeper, David von Balmos, he is even better. I think great quality keeper, and he was injured for a long time, but he won't be back in time. So it will be Anthony Racciopi.
So, well, that's a thing to expect. Second keeper is really good to be number 1 in everywhere else, and we got our keeper, which is, well, I think you would switch. Give yours. We'll take your number 2.
Our number 3 is also really good. In the cup final, in our cup final, our number 3 played against Lugano. Our cup final that was also a really good game. If you want to watch the recap on that, and our number 3 goalkeeper Marvin Keller played there, and he made the game-saving stop. He stopped the 100% chance, and then we countered and scored the 3-1 and won the game 3-2.
Give some keepers to other teams, man. It's not fair. You hoard them all.
Yeah. But Switzerland has great. We have a great keeper school. We have obviously Sommer who plays now for Inter. We have I've just lost the name of the Dortmund keeper, Kobel, Köhn, who now is at Monaco. We have really good keepers. Staffy Fobalmos, our keeper, normally would be a national keeper if we didn't have so many good keepers, I think, around him. So
I think everybody remember the legendary Zubermuller.
Yeah, Zubermuller. He was big, but he also every now and then made funny mistakes. But do you remember, I think it was in a group phase where you might have been in the same group as us, Pascolo. You remember Pascolo? Wasn't that when we played Israel? Pascolo was quite a legend also. He played for Aftertat, and he got a goal between his legs where the ball came slow and he wanted to stop it with his legs, but it went in between his legs. But yeah, our keepers have improved a lot.
So we don't have a lot of questions left, for me at least. Maybe the other guys have. I have one question, and then the thing I always ask our guests.
Yes.
So the first one is, one of the, I think, secret weapons of Maccabi, and you saw it maybe if you saw the game against Bratislava, was the heat and humidity in the stadium, which is unlike anything I think you experience in Switzerland. Haifa is by the sea. I think the stadium is maybe 100 meters, less than 100 meters line to the Mediterranean. It's very humid, even in 10 o'clock at night, trust me. Our fans, I actually ordered my new handheld fan because I tell you to bring it if you sit in the stadium. It's really hot. It's really humid. You sweat all over. And a lot of away teams, they make it maybe for the first half, but then the second half, you see, it becomes a lot slower. And it's, do you know, can you say if there's something that the team over there prepares for? Is this something that, how can you even prepare for something like this? Because it's very unique, to Haifa in this time of year, to Israel, I would say in this time of year, compared to mainland Europe, especially a place which is not like on the sea, like Switzerland.
It's hard to prepare for. I mean, we're lucky that we have hot summers here, and now next week will be 35 degrees. So, I mean, they'll be training for it, but the humidity, I mean, is not something you can prepare for if you're not used to it. So I don't know if they're going to work in the sauna or something, but I think the best thing is to just stay cool, and to kind of be economical with your resources. That's why I also expect us. I don't expect us to sit back because we're never a team that sits back. But I expect us to be maybe also, which also will be a nice change for us because normally we always are the team with more possession. Always, it's the way we play and it's the way we have to play in the league. And maybe we might give you a bit more possession, and that might also mean maybe we'll have the faster guys starting. We won't have maybe Nsame and Iten. Maybe we'll have Nsame and Elia, or Iten and Elia, or Govula and Elia. It will be a bit different. Maybe, like I said, all four of those are top class. So maybe we'll try to be a bit more vertical, hold the ball a bit less. But I mean, otherwise, we are used to tough atmospheres. I mean, maybe not to that humidity, but we are used to going to tough places. Red Star twice in our history. Zagreb, we beat them away. Ferencváros in Budapest, that's not an easy stadium to play in. It's not as hot, maybe not as humid, but the fans are loud. So, I mean, that's also important. Lots of our players have the experience to cope with it, and they won't lose their head, which is the most important bit. I don't think I think we have a lot of respect for the Sami Offer, but we're not scared at all, to be honest. But we have respect, which is the way it should be. But our coach will know how to have the team ready, and I think it will be a bit tweaked to normal. Maybe give you a bit more of the ball, but that's fine with us for the first leg. And then at home, 32,000 people. That's also good for us because the last two times we went to the Champions League, we always had to qualify away from home in the second leg. So the draw for us with the home leg second was massive. Everybody. I mean, we just want to come out of Sami Offer knowing we can do it all at home, which should happen if we perform normally.
Well, the only times we ever qualified for the Champions League was when the second leg was away.
Same as us.
No. Against Salzburg, the second leg was in Ramat Gan.
Yeah?
Yes.
After we won 2-1 there,
it was
3-0 at Ramat Gan.
My memory is completely bad, yeah.
But I mean, when I look at your results, you guys performed away as well, so we are definitely warned. I mean, nobody thinks it will be easy. Nobody who knows what they're talking about thinks it will be.
You have a cup match today, right?
Tonight, yeah.
Tonight, and you are playing with the second squad?
Well, we are playing against FC Breitenrhein, who are, I don't know if you have that in Haifa. Breitenrhein is like in German we say a Quartierclub. Quartier is Teil von Stadt, which means it's a part of the city. It's you'd say maybe a borough in English. So they're a smaller club, but they are actually in the borough where our stadium is. So the clubs are extremely close. I mean, lots of the IBE fans are also Breitsch, as we call them in short. They're also Breitsch fans. And they play in the promotion league. So it's we have Super League, Challenge League, then Promotion League. So there are 3 leagues below. I mean, it's not going to be a walk in the park. You can't play with your third string team. But it should be an option for our coach to maybe give a few guys a chance who aren't completely fit yet, who need some game time. You can watch the game, by the way. It's on. You can watch it on a stream. It will be streamed on SRF Sport if you want to watch it. And normally the cup games are always at the smaller team away, but because their stadium is being redone, they have to do it in our stadium. So it's a home game, or it's a away game for us in our home stadium, which is also kind of special. So it should be fun, but it's going to be like it's like it's like the big brother playing the small brother today.
And the game is sold out?
No, because it's not a home game. It's not. It's everybody has to buy tickets. So I think 15,000 maybe up to now, because it's Friday evening, nice weather. Everybody's getting ready for the Champions League. FC Breiteren has never had more than 6,000 people ever watching their games. So for them, it's a record anyway.
Because for us in Israel, it doesn't matter if it's home or away. It doesn't matter if it's league or cup or league cup. It's sold out almost all the time. For
Sammy often always sold out.
Yes.
Also against
also away games, away
yes.
and home.
We have a league cup tomorrow semi-final, and it took us 2 hours to buy all the 8,000 tickets. The
away.
Home, yes, away.
Wow.
And league cup. Nobody cares about the league cup.
That's so cool. That is so cool. Yeah. Well, today people. It's such a clear game. People are just going to go and have fun and enjoy themselves. It's not a friendly because it's a cup game, and everything can happen in a cup game, but it feels like a friendly. You know what I mean? Because everybody knows each other. It's like, lots of the players in Breitsch played for eBay. It's kind of special.
It sounds very cool.
Yeah.
Listen, Brian, we thank you so much for being here with us. Before you leave, we like to get our fans ready. Can you sing a song in Bandage, the language that you mentioned, which I never know?
Even song.
Of course, that we can put for the promo.
Of course. I can do the song about the day we won the title in 2018 if you want.
Go for it.
And it's actually the day we won that title is the birthday of my younger son. He was born on not on that day, but on the same day, and it's a holy day for us. So I'll sing it, okay? But I haven't sung for a long time. Weisst noch der Tag, es ist Samstag gsi, die ganze Stadt gab schwarz, es grüßt sich wieder Zeit, der Wolf im Goal, Zwangdorf ist voll, das Spiel schon fast Zentrum los, es muss jetzt einfach kommen. Schampelt auf den Ball, brennt überall. IB ist Meister, endlich haben wir den Pokal. Alle, alle, OBSC. Alle, 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 OBSC. And it goes on for that's a song that we can sing for a whole half.
That's great.
The translation.
Offer, you speak German. Did you understand?
It's
some
not
of the
German,
words?
it's Schweizerdeutsch.
It's different.
It's really hard to understand.
Would you like to know the translation of the song?
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
It's about that day, the day we won it. It's Weisst noch der Tag? You remember the day? Es ist Samstag gsi. It was a Saturday. Die ganze Stadt gelb-schwarz. The whole city yellow-black. Die ganze Stadt gelb-schwarz. The whole city knew it was time. It was time. Der Wolf im Goal is Wolfli, our keeper then. He is a legend of the club. Wolf im Goal. Wolfli in the goal. Zwangdorf is full. The Wankdorf is full. Spiel schon fast zu Ende. The game nearly over. So we need to get a goal. Spiel schon fast zu Ende. Es muss jetzt einfach kommen. It has to come. Shampoo topft den Ball, which is Jean-Pierre Nsame. Shampoo is his short name for us. Shampoo topft den Ball. Shampoo scores the goals. Brennt überall. Everything is burning. Endlich hat IBE den Pokal. At last we have the Pokal, the trophy. It's a great song. It's a great song.
Very nice. I have a last question. How can some of the Maccabi fan comes in big groups, like 8 or 10 people? Where can they stay? There is an apartment or maybe outside of Bern. Some of our fans ask me to ask you, where can they stay in big groups when they don't want to divide to different rooms in the hotels?
There's a Jugendherberge. I don't know how you say that in English, actually. Like an auberge in French, where young people go and stay, where you have like big dorms. There's one of those.
Hostel?
Hostel, yeah. Thank you. My brain. I was sick this week. My brain is a bit gaga. So yeah, hostel probably is an option. And then there's a really, if the weather is nice, there's a really cool camping in Eichholz, which is where we go into the river a lot, if you want to do camping. Then there's big hotels, I guess, close to the stadium. But yeah, then hotels are hotel rooms. You can probably get max 3 or 4 in. Yeah, that's all I can come up with. Like, if you don't want the normal hotel, I'd say the hostel or the camping.
But is it logical to stay outside of Bern and go to the game and go back, like for to Zurich or any other places?
You can do that, but Bern is the most beautiful city in Switzerland, so you'd be missing something. Yeah. But yeah. I mean, our public transport system is so good. You can, from Zurich, you're in the stadium you're in Bern in an hour, and in the stadium in 15 minutes. So you can do that if you want. Even from Geneva, it's only 2.5 hours. But if you can get a place in Bern, I would recommend you get a place in Bern.
Okay.
It should also be cheaper than Zurich. Zurich is expensive. What is also nice is Fribourg. Fribourg is close to us. 25 minutes, 30-minute train ride. Bit smaller, but also a very nice city. Maybe you can get something there.
Okay.
Biel also, same 30 minutes, also a nice city. Yeah. If there are 5,000 of you coming, maybe you have to go to other cities. Thun also a very nice city. Thun is in the Baden Oberland.
not 5,000, but I think more than 2.
All right.
Yeah, for sure. Brian, thank you so very much for indulging all of our questions and being nice and singing for us.
Hey, no problem.
I think out of all of the guests that we had from other teams, this was the best song.
Yes,
for sure. And I want it on the promo if it's possible. Just you singing.
Yeah. Fine. You go ahead.
And I want to say something I never said. I don't know if the guys agree with me. If we happen to lose, which I hope we don't, because I want to go to the Champions League and I'm really psyched. But if the worst case scenario, that 1% that we are losing, I'm with the eBay all the way. For me, you're the team for me in the Champions. So good luck on all the games apart from against us. And thank you so much again for being a lovely guest.
Thank you guys, and likewise. Everything I've read about Maccabi is great. I'm impressed, and especially about the stuff around the football pitch, which, as we know, football is culture. It's not only winning, and that's the most important thing. And that's what I really respect about what I've read about your club. So I'm looking forward to meeting you all. Make sure you text me, Offer, if you come, or whoever comes, text me, Offer. You can give them my number, and we'll have a beer. And then before the game, you'll see me on the big screen in the stadium, and I will say hello.
Oh, cool.
Okay, that's great. So thank you so much, Brian. Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Offer. Thank you for listening to us. And on Sunday, we will record an Hebrew chapter towards them.
I won't understand anything. Okay. You can tell all the secrets then.
So Shabbat Shalom and bye-bye, everybody.